me in thanking the drummers for that wonderful honor of being drummed in here today. Thank you very much. We pay our respects to the drum. And it's time that First Nations in this country were treated with dignity and respect by our government. Wow, this is one heck of a Saskatoon welcome. When I was running for leader, the first meeting I came to, there were 4 people at it. That was about 9 years ago, but we had a dream, didn't we? We said we're going to build towards some change in this country, didn't we? And we said we don't have to accept the old ways, the way it's been done for years and years. We can build the country we want because it's been done here before. I want to say how thrilled I am to see so many young people here. Let's celebrate the next generation. The winds of change are blowing, and I'm afraid they're going to blow these signs right off, blow me off the stage. Can you feel the winds of change blowing, my friends? Moi aussi, je peux les sentir. Je peux les sentir de l'Atlantique, du Grand Nord du Canada, de Colombie-Britannique, et même les vents de changement se soufflent au Québec. Yeah, we are feeling those winds of change blowing. From all over the country, I've been traveling back and forth, as you may know. And everywhere I go, people are saying it's time for a change. But before I speak a little bit about that, I have 2 things I want to say of a more serious note. One is to commemorate, and it's to commemorate workers who have lost their lives on the job, because today is the National Day of Mourning, and upwards of approximately 1,000 working people have lost their lives this year alone on the job. The New Democrats put a motion to the House of Commons to declare this day, and I want us to remember their lives and their contribution and commit that we will work harder to make workplaces safe for people who are working on our behalf day in and day out. I'd also like to acknowledge that Ann Blakeney is here, and I simply want to say this, that Alan was one of the great leaders of our party and showed us how we could take our visions and our dreams and turn them into the practical application of social justice and the kind of values that we believe in this country. And I want to dedicate, and I have dedicated this campaign to the memory of Alan Blakeney. Now, friends, people are saying to themselves, why is this spirit of change rising up across the land? Because it's happening, isn't it? You can feel it. And I think it's because people have looked at what's going on in Ottawa for so long, and they're saying, it's broken, it's time we fixed it. Do you think it's time we fixed what's going on in Ottawa? Do you think it's time we stop these scandals from one party and then the next? Do you think it's time that instead of the big banks and the oil companies getting everything that they asked for, that families and seniors and working people got what they asked for? Do you think it's time that instead of subsidizing the biggest polluters in the land, we instead start helping out those who are bringing the solutions to environmental problems? Well, I think so too. And I want you to know that there's a solution right next here. I see Don Cossack right beside me here, and so many others who are working on this wonderful project here. I want to get the name right. Station 20 West. Station 20 West. Now, there's an example of how you can make change happen. And we need to take that kind of spirit of communities coming together, bringing people together to solve our problems. What I've seen in Ottawa, and I'm sure what you've seen for too long, is governments trying to divide people instead of bringing them together. We think it's time to bring Canadians together so that we can build the country of our dreams. And we can do it if we do work together. Young and old, rural and urban, farm families and families in the factories. We need to bring everybody together. And that's the kind of spirit that this election is calling upon us all to deliver on Monday, May the 2nd. Are you going to be out there? Good, I was kind of hoping that's what you'd say. I'm going to have some things to say about that later because we've got some work to do. But I want to tell you what we're going to do. If we have the opportunity to serve as the government of this country, in the first 100 days, we are going to make sure that more family doctors and nurses are made available, brought on board to serve the families of this country, because it's not right. It's not right that 5 million Canadians don't have a family doctor. That's got to change. In the first 100 days, we will pass the kind of legislation and budget that will lift every single senior citizen in this country out of poverty. Because when you think of it, when we were hungry, the seniors were there for us. When we needed support, they were there for us. They built our community, built our country, and all of the things we love about Canada. And it's time that we made sure that every senior citizen in this country lives with dignity and respect. And that's our commitment to all of you. And of course, some of them are veterans. We also have young veterans coming home, some of them with traumatic experiences and injuries. It's time that our country was there to support them and their families, as the Ombudsman has called for. And the new Democrat government would make sure that that happened. We're all concerned about retirement security. So we will make sure that the Canada Pension Plan is strengthened so that every Canadian of every age won't have to be worried about retirement security. We're going to work with farm families. Too many farm families now are essentially subsidizing our food with their off-farm jobs, and they're at levels of debt that we haven't seen. The programs that are supposed to be there to help them turn out to be too expensive, and they're not working. It's time that we got out and worked for the farm families of this country, and you can be sure a new Democrat government would do exactly that. We've also got to make life more affordable. People are in more debt than they've ever been, and yet you're being gouged on your credit cards. Is there anybody here who's not being gouged on their credit cards? Yeah, you don't have one. There you go. What we want to do is put a cap on the interest rates of those credit cards so people have a fighting chance to get out of debt. Now we know that in the Ottawa of today, that the most powerful, the best connected, the friends of the government seems to always be able to get their way. And I think that that's what's bothering a lot of people. They're saying, when are we going to put families first? You can't afford to have a lobbyist in Ottawa on your behalf. What you need are members of Parliament fighting on your behalf in Ottawa for the people of Saskatchewan. Now I can tell you, we have a great team here, don't we? On a la meilleure équipe de candidats qu'on n'a jamais eu. Et c'est eux qui sont capables de remplacer le gouvernement de Stephen Harper. We have the strongest team of candidates across the country that we've ever had. We've built a movement that's very exciting and is extraordinary. And we've got a lot of work to do. But I can tell you one thing. When we elect these members of Parliament to Ottawa, they're going to be there on your side each and every day, working for you. That's our commitment to each and every one of you here today. Now, some people will say, you haven't got any choice. You have to vote for the same old two parties. No! Now, I'm remembering, and I won't repeat the story, but so many of you have heard it because we're here in Saskatoon. But Tommy Douglas used to tell the story He used to tell the story of the black cats and the white cats, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And how the mice would keep electing first the black cats, and then they'd change around and vote for the white cats.
Yes.
But they still would find that the laws were passed to the detriment of the mice and to the benefit of the cats. And then there was a bright young fellow mouse who came forward and said, "Perhaps we ought to be electing mice." It was a great story. And folks, we're being told the same thing in this election, that we have no choice but to vote for the old line parties. But we've seen what they've done. And we have decided that we're going to make a change. And we're going to pick something new. And we're going to pick some new energy with the values that we share together. And that's the New Democratic Party of Canada. Now, I also see that these other parties have decided to go on the attack in these last few days. They're taking out what they call attack ads. Isn't that a delightful concept, eh? Let's buy some time on television to attack other people. You know, no wonder people get turned off. No wonder young people turn away from politics when that's what they see. Well, I'll tell you, I'm about to launch some attacks of my own. My attack is against poverty in this country. Our attack is against the crisis of climate change here. We're going to attack insecurity that seniors face in their retirement years. We're going to attack the shortage of home care, and the shortage of long-term care, and the shortage of child care, and we'll attack the shortage of affordable housing. We're going to attack all of these things. And we're not going to look behind us at those attack ads of the other teams.
No.
Because it's time to take a new view of how you make the country work. It's not about dividing people and setting one group against the other. We've seen far too much of that. It plays on fear, it plays on anger, it plays on negativity. We're focused on the positive, the practical, what we could do together. And my friends, I think that spirit is a very Canadian spirit. That's how we built the greatest country in the world, was by working together. Mes chers amis, les autres, ils veulent diviser les gens. Et on a eu ces vieilles chicanes depuis longtemps. C'est le temps de changer notre approche. Et notre offre, c'est de travailler ensemble. Travaillons ensemble pour améliorer le sort de tout le monde. So let me just ask you, in closing, my dear friends, we just have a few days left. There's no question that something's going on. Last time I visited this parking lot, it didn't take me anywhere near as long to walk over here. And I'm saying it's very, very exciting to see you all here. And I have in my mind's eye what's going to be happening throughout Saskatoon and throughout Saskatchewan over the next 3 or 4 days. This group of people and many more are going to fan out and are going to knock on doors. Are you ready to do that?
Yeah!
You're going to put signs up on streets. Are you ready to do that? You're going to be on the telephone to your family and to your friends. Are you ready to do that? And on May the 2nd, you're going to turn out at the polls in record numbers, and you're going to defy the skeptics. You're going to prove them wrong. You're going to show that we can make change if we want to. Do you want to? I'm just going to close by saying that it's heartwarming and exciting for me to see you all here today. I see many friends from as we've been building this movement over the past number of years, preparing for the day when we could offer this alternative to Canadians. You are now all a part of this movement for change. And I want to invite you to do everything you can in the next 3 to 4, 4 days left? Beginning to lose track. 4 days left. And to get out there and make that possibility a reality. Tommy Douglas told us all, courage, my friends, it is never too late to make a better world. Let's get on with the job.